Just make
and
sure.
an electrical contract. Oh, sorry, what was that? I missed something there.
No, we're all good, thanks.
Okay. Okay, so I'm going to dive, like I said, right on into the presentation here. So, yeah, we're Universal Electrical Services. We're an electrical contractor, and we are focused in really numerous areas. I always say we pretty much do everything you can think of. We like residential work, we like commercial work, we like industrial work, and we really cover the whole spectrum of anything you can think of when it comes to electrical. So I know that's pretty broad, and unless you're specifically in this industry, not necessarily all that informative, but if somebody says they've got a light that's flickering, we'll take a look at that. If somebody says they want to completely gut and renovate their commercial space, we'll do that job too. So everything from the smallest service call right through to larger scale projects, we love it all. We've got the team that's perfectly set up for it. So we covered North Vancouver to Hope. We do go a bit beyond that as well. I like to use those as just more, kind of landmarks so people kind of know, but we do have a really wide range that we cover, and that's just due to where we're able to provide service based on our technicians. Our technicians don't start at our office, they start from home with their vans. So the communities they live in are the ones that we try to find a lot of good work for them in. So what I really wanted to kind of touch base a little bit on this week was focusing a little bit on how we can aid real estate. We've obviously got a really strong real estate sector in this group. Of course, they put on lovely seminars as well with related to buying and selling. So I thought it might be relevant to focus a little bit on that. So a couple of things that can kind of be focused on with sellers, when it comes to electrical, when they go to look at selling their home. These are some things to look for that I've heard numerous complaints about, and I've also come in to fix many times for people, when they've purchased a new home. It's lighting. Does all the lighting in the home work? Does it actually illuminate the space that it's supposed to? How about things like thermostats for operating your heaters or your central heating system, things like that? Do they all work? And same thing with other fixtures, any of the other appliances and devices in the home, if they're part of the sale, do all these things work? By having a home full of working and operational devices, it just makes it easier to sell. It's less things for a buyer to possibly fight you on and want to, and need to add into their mortgage or pay cash for down the road. So having these items all in good working condition really helps make a difference when you go to sell a space, and especially lighting. You could ask, Corinne, our stager, having an adequately lit space is going to make that home sell so much better than having dark, dingy rooms and things like that. And that can be as simple as just changing the lamp type used in a fixture as well to something that is more space appropriate. Now, when we look at buyers, of course, very similar things. However, my focus more on the buyer side is, now, as somebody like Michelle is going to know, you're selling somebody a bit of a dream. You're not just selling them a property, you're selling them, hey, where do I see myself in this home? What do I see myself doing? So a lot of the things I like to focus on when we've been brought in to look at, somebody's new property or space is, once again, focus on that lighting. Are there dark spots throughout the house that, hey, maybe we can bring a light into this space and it completely changes that room for them? Things like under cabinet lighting in the kitchen. It provides a really great option, especially in open concept spaces, to have just a nice ambient background lighting as opposed to the harsher and more direct lights that come from your ceiling. And then things like simple upgrades like pot lights, changing the very old school type of fixtures to, say, a series of, 2, 3, or 4 pot lights can often help space out the lighting a little bit better in a room and just make it a little bit cozier for your eyes, depending how sensitive you might be. I know somebody like myself, I'm very sensitive to lights of any type. So I really like to have more of that ambient feeling as opposed to a harsh like reading light, let's say. We look at things like hot and cold. Are people considering when they move in purchasing a central air unit? Do they have baseboard heaters now? Is that something they want, or do they want to upgrade? And then things like something like an air exchanger is a device we've been seeing a lot more inquiries about because they help to continue to bring fresh air into the home while preserving the heat. So you don't lose any of the heat while you're still able to bring fresher air into your home. A lot of people like having that fresh air so you don't get that staleness of, a musty basement or things like that. So air exchangers are a great device that help with that. And then in terms of just new devices, we've been doing a lot of wall-mounted TVs with, the nice little recessed outlets up above them. Same with things like hot tubs and adding additional data lines, as well as smart homes and cameras. We've been doing so much more of that stuff, especially since the pandemic times kind of struck. A lot more people spending time at home, wanted to spruce up their spaces, but definitely something that, if you're buying a new home or if you know anybody that is, these are all different types of things that they might be looking for, whether it's just aesthetic or convenience. Electric vehicles is another one. I know I've touched on this quite a few times in the past. It's a massive and growing market, and it's only going to get bigger. Chargers are not just simply a plug and play type of device. The energy demands required from proper electric vehicle chargers really do lead to a lot of other things, like upgrading their system as a whole or using additional devices that help to support the health of the system while still allowing you to charge. And by 2040, all new vehicle sales in BC are going to be electric. So the infrastructure requirements for a province coming up are massive. And the sooner people can get in and adopt the smarter technologies coming on board, the sooner they're going to be equipped for when those changes come over. And also while there's rebate money available from the government, which is a huge to help offset some of those costs. Some other kind of general things to consider, really. I always say to get an electrical inspection done, whether you're a buyer or a seller, it's no different than when you bring Ken in to do your home inspection. He obviously takes a lot deeper dive into the health of your overall home. But an electrical inspection is kind of a nice way to complement the work that he does. We take a slightly deeper dive into a few of the areas that concern more your service side of your home, which is where your main electrical service comes in. That's an area that not all home inspectors will touch. Some do. I think most of them don't really like to explore that side because that's where Ken's shaking his head no. That's where the ouchie factor, as I call it, can come into play if you don't know what you're doing. So, but it's really an important part of the health of your home is making sure that that's, available. And anybody that's, in a mobile or manufactured style home, there are these things called silver labels, which, Michelle's told us many times, you can't even list your home if you don't have that silver label on there. So these are really important, and that's an inspection service that we do constantly, and we love working on those. Really helps get those homes back into good shape, and able to be sold on the market. But that's all that I have for you guys. Just a quick snapshot into kind of what we do in the residential world there. I appreciate everybody's time this morning, allowing me to present, and I'd be happy to answer any questions if anybody has them.
Awesome presentation, Craig. With the electric vehicles, being able to be in a townhouse or a condo, how would you go about putting a request for getting an electric charger into your condo, into your townhouse, if you didn't know the process here?
Yeah, those are definitely more complicated. Townhomes, unless the townhome has a shared parking space with multiple other tenants, like a shared covered parking space of some kind, They do get treated like a single family home. So you just have to obtain your strata's approval and then go through the standard process that just a regular homeowner would. Condos and apartments, I mean, I could do like a 3-hour presentation on on the, you know, everything surrounding those, but it's significant. Requires strata work. It requires, you know, like an electric vehicle kind of committee to review, as well as we have to get electrical engineering involved, numerous steps. There's a lot of money available, like north of $100,000 available in rebates for buildings that take that on. And there's steps and things like that that you need to go through, but we're pretty comfortable navigating it. So.
Awesome. Here we go.
Yeah, thanks, Brandon. Anybody else have anything, or should we jump
I just want to
on?
say, I really appreciate you mentioning the lighting, because that is definitely a huge one. And yet it's such an inexpensive update, let's just say, just to make sure that all of your light bulbs are working and that they're all the same color. And, you know, upgrading a light fixture, it's kind of like upgrading the handles on your kitchen cupboard. I mean, it doesn't get much easier than that when you're going to sell your house, or if you just want to stay in your house and, you know, love your house again, as we say. I definitely want to sort of emphasize that it's just so inexpensive, and it can just change the whole look and upgrade everything. So I appreciate you pointing that out, and I'm sure Michelle would really agree with with that. It just seems like you walk into a lot of homes and their lighting is outdated, or it's dingy, or whatever. And those are just simple things. So those are really easy wins to look out for as far as referrals for Craig are concerned. So.
Yeah, no, thanks, Corinne. It definitely is. I even tell people, like, when we get into commercial spaces, there's requirements on providing a certain level of lighting just for where people work, or in kitchen, like common shared kitchen spaces and stuff. So I mean, why would you treat your home any different, right? You want your home to be lit to provide you with a safe and healthy environment that you can function in. So yeah, thank you. But I think we will move along here.